a few coming through our doors. We acknowledge and are mindful that the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Chico stands on lands that were originally occupied by the first people of this area, the Mechoopda, and we recognize their distinctive spiritual relationship with this land, the flora, the fauna, and the waters that run near campus. We are humbled that our campus resides upon sacred lands that since time immemorial has sustained the Mechoopda people and continues to do so today. Our chalice lighting are words by Melanie Davis. If ever there were a time for a candle in the darkness, this would be it. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice. Our gathering hymn is number 346 in the gray hymnal. Pam is going to lead us. We're going to sing verses 1, 2, and 4. Please stand if you're willing or able.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your might. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
The light's green. Can you, oh, there we go. Okay. An important part of our gatherings on Sunday are the sharings of joys and concerns. This is one of my favorites. If you woke this morning with a sorrow so heavy that you need the help of this community to carry it, or if you woke with a joy so great that it simply must be shared, this is your time to speak. But please be mindful not to speak of another unless you have that person's permission. If you'd like to come forward, state your name, share your joy or concern, and drop a stone in the water. And if you'd like me to bring the mic to you, just raise your hand and I'll do that.
Me again. I have a joy that my youngest daughter is flying the coop. She has gotten a full-time job with benefits and is moving out. She has an apartment that is so close. It's wonderful. And she's very excited about it. So this is Kelsey, if you know her.
I have a joy. Yesterday was the 100th birthday of Charles Schulz. Now, you may remember Charles Schultz as the creator of Peanuts and of Charlie Brown. And Charlie Brown has always been one of my heroes because he never could talk to the redheaded girl and he could never kick the football and he was just an all around kind of schlump, but he gave me so much joy as in many younger years.
Hello, yo. Can y'all hear me? Is this okay? My name is Connor, and I have a couple of joys today. One of them being that I am, speak of which, you know how it was Thanksgiving on Thursday? Well, one of the things I'm absolutely grateful for is be able to spend time with family, which is something I don't feel like I do often enough. And it's a joy to just be here. I know I've been gone for like a month. I was focusing on my academics because my grades were worrying me, but it's a joy to be back here with all of you and to continue to be a part of this wonderful community. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Bob, and I'm kind of sharing the same feelings that Connor uh, just expressed, especially about the dinner that was here on Thursday on Thanksgiving. It was one of the best Thanksgivings I've ever had, and it was a very joyful occasion for me. And I wanted to thank the fellowship for um, providing that, and because it was a joyful day.
Okay. I'll drop a couple of stones in for those things that remain in the silence of our hearts. So our service today is 3 pre-recorded sections. The first one will begin right now. Meditation on communities of care and love. Take it away, Dave.
Whether you are attending this worship online or in person, I invite you to join as we share a meditation on communities of care and love. We begin simply by noticing our breath, in and out, in and out. Notice the rise and the fall of your chest as you breathe. You might put a hand on your chest and one on your stomach, noticing your breath in and out. Notice the movement of your body as the air comes in and out. In and out. Now I invite you to roll your head around. Notice how that feels. Does it feel relaxed or stiff, loose, maybe painful? Gently roll your head, keeping your shoulders down and relaxed. Just simply noticing how that feels. Can you feel other muscles being pulled and stretched? Maybe in your back, maybe in your shoulders. Now, as you breathe, lift your shoulders, holding them up. Oh, and releasing them. Lifting them and releasing them. In and out. In and out. Notice how it feels. Now notice the feelings that are inside of you today. With gentleness, tenderness, without judgment, just noticing the feelings that flow and crest and ebb like a wave. Whatever they are, just notice them. Are you anxious, joyful, curious or tense, fearful or worried? Just noticing. Now, without looking, think of the people around you, in the room or on the screen. Just notice there are people around. Each of these people is filled with their own feelings. Take that in as you continue to breathe in and out. Holding a wondering for what they're feeling today. You are all part of this community that is called to live with love and care for each person, whoever they are, whatever they are carrying in their hearts today, whatever they experience in the world, similar or different from you. Feel their presence. Take them into your heart. Notice the love and care in your heart for those around you. Notice how it feels to extend care and love to your community. We create a community of love and care together, each of us, all together. May we learn and practice how best we can be communities of love and care. Amen. And may it be so.
And our story for all ages is part 2, Gate A4.
Reading for today is Gate A4 by Naomi Shihab Nye. Wandering around the Albuquerque airport terminal, after learning my flight had been delayed 4 hours, I heard an announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of Gate A4 understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one pauses these days. Gate A4 was my own gate. I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian embroidered dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing. "Help," said the flight agent. "Talk to her. What is her problem? We told her the flight was going to be late and she did this." I stooped to put my arm around the woman and spoke haltingly. "شداوة شبتك حبيبتي؟ استنى شوي من فضلك. شو بتسوي?" The minute she heard words she knew, however poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought the flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for major medical treatment the next day. I said, "No, we're fine. You'll get there. Just later. Who is picking you up? Let's call him." We called her son. I spoke with him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane and ride next to her. She talked to him, then we called her other sons just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad, and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic and found, of course, that they shared 10 friends. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took up to 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling of her life, patting my knee, answering questions. She had pulled a sack of homemade mahmoul cookies, little powdered sugar, crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts from her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single woman declined one. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the mom from California, the lovely woman from Laredo. We were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There is no better cookie. And then the airline broke out free apple juice from huge coolers, and 2 little girls from our flight ran around serving it, and they were covered with powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend. By now we were holding hands. Had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with green, furry leaves, such an old country tradition. Always carry a plant. Always stay rooted to somewhere. And I looked around the gate of late and weary ones, and I thought, this is the world I want to live in. A shared world. Not a single person in that gate, once the crying of confusion stopped, seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those other women too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. Amin.
I've spent a lot of time in airports during my ministry career. As Pacific Western Region field staff, my work has taken me from my home in Oregon to congregations in California, Utah, Montana, just to name a few. Early in my career, I served as developmental outreach minister to Alaska, and I would fly north on a regular basis. I have to admit, I got to kind of like my time in airports. I developed a system for being comfortable while traveling, and airports are a great place to people watch. What I notice in airports is both the variety and the sameness among people. I remember seeing a group of quiet nuns dressed in the garb of Mother Teresa's order in Calcutta coming through San Francisco. They were looking at the map, trying to figure out where to go next, the same map that I had looked at to find my gate that morning. I remember waiting for a flight to Orange County, where I believe I was the only person getting on that plane that was not going to Disneyland. Such a happy and boisterous crowd. The joy was infectious. I've seen people with faces puffy from crying, talking on their cell phones with family, making unexpected funeral plans. There was the time I was the one crying in the airport, trying to get to my daughter who went into early labor with her first child, the gate agents trying to get me on a sooner flight. Yes, airports are filled with the richness of human experience, a mass of humanity. Many are tired. Some are frightened or excited or filled with anticipation. For all but the most constant travelers, it's people having a day that's outside of their usual routine. One memory that makes me smile is a young German family in the food court. They had an adorable little girl who looked to be about 2 years old, and they were trying to get her to cooperate with moving on, like putting on a sweater or something like that. And there was squirming and fussing, and all the little girl kept saying was, "Nine, nine, nine," in that voice that 2-year-olds call on when whining no to their parents. Had to force myself not to laugh out loud in parental solidarity. 2-year-olds sound the same in German as they do in English. It made me wonder if I'd walked through the international terminal, if I would have seen and heard fussing toddlers saying, "Yeah, niet, 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 nahin," when they were tired from traveling, in unfamiliar surroundings, maybe off their nap schedule from a long flight. Toddlers, in my experience, are very honest little people and not ones to mask their feelings when under stress. Now, I'm not saying all people in the world are just the same. We have different cultures, different life experiences. Our joys and challenges can be remarkably varied. Some families are in the airport because they're visiting loved ones for a wonderful holiday celebration. Some are leaving an untenable situation in their homeland. But the voice of a fussy 2-year-old, sounding so familiar but in another language, it helped me feel connected to this family from another continent. I heard at that moment that this little girl felt the same need for autonomy as so many of her peers that I've met. I felt a deep connection with this family that I had never before seen, and that connection, I can't help believe, is a good thing.
The cookies, the apple juice, the smiles, the delight, it all started with an invitation. Over the PA system in the airport, an invitation to be a translator, an invitation to be present to someone in distress. Naomi Shihab Nye's narrator accepts that invitation, and over the next couple of hours, magic emerges. Not just magic between the narrator and the Palestinian woman, but magic between so many strangers. Smiling, connecting, receiving and giving food and laughter and sparks of joy. Over and over, life invites us to answer a call. Sometimes the call is subtle, like a whisper, or a quiet glance. Sometimes it is mundane, like an airport announcement over the PA. Over and over, life invites us to make a connection with a person, with a group of people, with an animal, with a place. And as we move toward them and make a connection, we can't know exactly what will emerge. Perhaps it will be just a quick perfunctory interaction and we'll be on our way. Or perhaps there will be cookies and laughter and so much more. Perhaps it will even change the world. The contemporary author and activist Adrienne Marie Brown invites us to get strategic about how we say yes to those invitations that life sends our way, how we move in relational ways so that magic can emerge. Adrienne's 2017 book, Emergent Strategy, Shaping Change, Changing Worlds, invites us to form and reform community with an openness to the grace and the magic that can't be planned for. That's emergence. Emergence, she writes, is beyond what the sum of its parts could ever imagine. She continues with a metaphor from nature. Oak trees don't set an intention to listen to each other better or agree to hold tight to each other when the next storm comes. No. Under the earth, always they reach for each other. They grow such that their roots are intertwined and they create a system of strength that is as resilient on a sunny day as it is in a hurricane. We are invited, she continues, we are invited to be that prolific and to return fertility to the soil around us. And what emerges from these cycles are complex organisms, systems, movements, societies. Nothing is wasted or a failure. Emergence is a system that makes use of everything. Adrienne Marie Brown's own leadership emerges from the intersections of all the communities she's in authentic relationship with: queer, Black, and BIPOC folk, scientists and science fiction fans, social change organizers and restorative justice practitioners, and more. She sees emergence happening in all of it. It's the way that complex systems and patterns arise out of a multiplicity of relatively simple interactions, she says. Like the powdered sugar smiles, the storytelling, the joy that spread in the airport that day. I invite us to think of those oak trees. Under the earth, they reach for each other. They grow such that their roots are entwined. How are we reaching for each other in this congregation? How are we reaching for each other in the United States as politicians sow cruelty and division? How are we reaching out and building connections instead? How are we reaching for each other beyond our border and across the world? What sort of things might emerge if we but built the relationships or the connections? The connecting is spiritual work, waking up to the ancestry DNA results that just came in for all of us, that we are each of us deeply interdependent, deeply indebted to all people and all life. Realizing that we are related to and in relationship with everyone and everything. Feeling awe and wonder and love. Love for this tremendous experience of life we share. Love for one another. Love for those who are different from us. Love for the creatures, the microorganisms, the earth, resisting with all our might the forces that tell us that we are separate, that they are other. The invitation to relationship is always calling us in different and surprising ways. And together, how might we listen and discover and bring into being something better and more beautiful than we alone could ever have imagined? Let's make it so. Amen.
In this season, we cross thresholds from one year into the next, from one season to the next, out of some doorways and into others, across state lines, highways, byways, and skyways. We are moving through. From delight to pain, to laughter to tears, from emptiness to fullness, to loss to discovery, we are crossing over. In this season, we become thresholds. You see, the spirit of compassion is looking for an entry point. The spirit of generosity is looking for a way in. The spirit of patience is looking for a place to land. The spirit of love is looking for a crack in the heart. At the same time, fear is on the same quest for belonging. Selfishness wants to stretch out. Anger and outrage are looking for safe harbor. Hatred is wondering if there's room in the inn. What are we making room for as we cross all these thresholds? As we take off, literally and figuratively, what are we taking with us? Not everything we carry with us can make it onto the flight. Think of your mind as an overhead compartment. You know there are some bags and suitcases you can't bring with you onto the flight. They won't fit into the overhead. You have to check them at the gate. With all our comings and goings this holiday season, maybe we can lighten our loads and make more room in our overhead compartments. Perhaps we only need to carry what's necessary. That would be the things that are essential to our love and care for ourselves and for the people in our lives. We probably need some forgiveness in our overhead, some realistic expectations in our overhead, some gratitude in our overhead. As for the persistent complaints, the hostility, the petty annoyances, we can check those at the gate. They can be tucked out of sight. In the realm of our spiritual lives, these are beliefs and behaviors we can choose not to access. We can pick them up later if we want to, but we could also leave them to spin round and around unclaimed at the baggage carousel. As our transcendentalist forebear Ralph Waldo Emerson reminds us, within us is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty to which every part and particle is related, the eternal one. When it breaks through our intellect, it is silence. When it breathes through our will, it is virtue. When it flows through our affections, it is love. I pray that throughout these weeks and in the year that lies ahead, you will be a space, a threshold for the oversoul to reveal itself. The oversoul gives you the wisdom to know what to say and when to say it at those family gatherings. Through the oversoul, you already have the capacity to align your deepest values with your actions. Because of the oversoul, you know what the truth of love is in each situation you encounter. Take heart and be encouraged. The unpredictable and impermanent nature of life itself has risen high in our consciousness and in our world. Yet we are not alone. We have each other, and we have the love that is large enough to hold each and every one of us, now and in all the days to come.
Okay, it's physical donation time, contributions. Our contributions continue to support the ministries within these walls and in the wider community. And this quarter, 25% of the cash contributions go to the North State Shelter Team. Their mission is to address Chico's shelter crisis by advocating, proposing, and creating a variety of shelter and hygiene options, including a portable shower facility. Please be generous. And our music is actually a sing-along this time. The words are going to be on the slide. Okay, thank you for your generosity. We're going to sing another song. Pam's going to lead us this time. Number 131 in your gray hymnal. Please stand if you're willing or able, body or spirit. And we're going to sing all the verses.
Peace has dried us, hope inside us. We'll lead the way on the road from giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us, we'll lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Thank you, Pam. Our closing words today are from Danusha Lamiris. It's called Small Kindnesses. I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pull their legs in to let you go by. Or how strangers still say, bless you, when someone sneezes, a leftover from the bubonic plague. Don't die, we are saying. And sometimes when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you pick them up. Mostly we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot and to say thank you to the person handing it. For the waitress to call us honey when she sets down the bowl of clam chowder, and for the driver in the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire, only these brief moments of exchange. What if they are the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples we make together when we say, "Here, have my seat. Go ahead, you first. I like your hat." Go in peace, have some coffee. Thank you, everybody.